Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of the GSE Podcast. I'm here this week with Roger Martin, and he is joining us from Australia. He is with the Tree Kangaroo and Mammal group, and Roger's got a very exciting project to talk to us about this week. He has been tagging koalas with the GSatSolar, and we have David Chalona here with us, who is the global account manager that has been looking after them in Australia. And we've managed to keep Roger up at 11:30 at night to get a few insights from him about the project and how it's been going, and to talk to us about the Tree Kangaroo and Mammal group, what it is that you do, and how you've used our GSatSolar satellite tracking tag on a koala, and what you would like to use the results for.
Okay, where we are is far north Queensland, which is pretty close to the northern limit of the koalas range. Koalas have got a huge range, really. They go over about 3,000 kilometres from here down into southern Australia, and they're mainly known from the south, so very little work has been done on them up here. The concerns up here are really modelling the effects of climate change. We already have fairly hot summers up here. When you get a bit further west of the coast, get inland, very hot summers, up over 40 degrees. And that's a bit much for koalas, and the modelling suggests that we'll lose a lot of the lowland populations, and the only places where koalas will continue to exist is up around a thousand metres elevation on the main coastal range. So we've started a study there. Because the koalas there hasn't been field studies this far north. So we've studied this here, and what has turned out is we have a population, low abundance, very large ranges compared to southern koalas, and very hard to do a field study under those circumstances. The GSatSolar product, which fits very nicely on a koala. Koalas are very tolerant of having a collar on them. It also, koalas are nocturnally active, so they tend to sit around in a tree during the day, and that works very nicely with a product that's got a solar panel on it, because they can, if everything goes well, they recharge the battery every day, and we can get 12 or 13 fixes overnight. And that nocturnal activity is very important to have a good record of, because we can start to understand how they're using habitat, which trees they're visiting. They're fairly selective they feed on eucalypts, but they're fairly selective on which species they will use. So there are probably about a dozen eucalypt species in this area, and the koalas are using probably 3 of them. So we can get very good data on what trees they're using, extent of their movements, their interactions, all of that sort of thing. We're interested in trying to understand these northern populations before things get quite rough for them. So yes, it's been. I don't know how we would have done this study without having this sort of information. It would have been very difficult, mainly because of their ranges. So yeah, it's been a game changer for us.
It's really good to hear, and the fact that the product's so light, it's very ethical for the animal to have on it.
Yes.
The locations that you're seeing, 12, 13 in a 24-hour period is great, because I guess it's a slow-moving animal. It's not moving very quickly, so it's not moving. Or how much distance does it cover in a 24-hour period? Maybe I'd be surprised. It seems like a docile animal, and
well.
koalas cover.
Well, the information we're getting up here, we have a different view of koalas to what has been the common view. The common view is a very lethargic animal, sleeps 22 hours a day, doesn't do much, moves 300 metres overnight at most. That is not the picture up here. In the breeding season, the males will move 3.5 kilometres a night. They will, in the last 12 months, One of our males has walked 200 kilometres, so he moves a lot in the breeding season. It's to do with the nature of this population. It's very low abundance, very widely dispersed. They communicate by this low-frequency bellow, where the males are advertising their presence. The females can find them. We know the females bellow a little bit, but it's only really been recorded in zoo populations. So we're trying to understand how the breeding system works. So it's been very fortuitous that we didn't know how we were going to do this. We were really just trying to prepare the ground for what may become very dire circumstances for koalas. So yes, they move a surprising distance. They're generally seen mainly because of animal studies down south, of animals which tend to be living in remnant patches of habitat. There's been a lot of land clearing down south. We're fortunate here that we have large areas of contiguous habitats. If our koala wants to walk, well, he moved 25 kilometres from his winter range this time, and I think he crossed one sealed road. So that's very unusual. Down south, one of the major mortality factors with koalas is roadkills. They have no road sense. A lot get killed on the road, whereas they do up here a little bit too, but there are not as many roads and there's lots of forest. So it's a very interesting study. It's changed our view of koalas. Northern koalas are different to southern koala.
Amazing. It's so nice to get these insights from technology, and it's great that we're starting to understand this. You spoke about the 12 different types of eucalyptus tree and that the koala specifically likes 3 of them. I guess the information here as well is that you might be able to determine overgrazing or where the koala is looking to find new trees to graze and
Yes.
moves away from old ones. So is the dietary behavior of the animal, I guess, also reflected through that data as well?
Yeah, the dietary behaviour of koalas is well, it's very interesting. It's a management problem down south because you tend to build up very high abundance populations in the small areas of preferred food trees, and they start defoliating them. Because of the low abundance, that's not really an issue up here. What will be issues and what will be important in keeping track of animals are increasing frequency and intensity of fire. Fire is a very dangerous thing for koalas. They had really widespread bushfires in southern Australia in 2019, and that killed about 60,000 koalas. We see it in the future that koalas will probably be more closely managed than they've been in the past because they'll become very precious, because populations will probably continue to decline because of climate change. So keeping track of study animals, which are very important, or keeping track of breeding females because we have some disease problems and where vaccines are being developed. So keeping track of animals moving over a large area in changing conditions will be where this sort of technology will really come into its own.
Something too, Roger, maybe you can talk about too. I think it was you and Amy and I were talking about the fact that now that you're able to track the koala, the local residents in the area have been really receptive to the fact that they have koala now on their property and on their stations, and they're really kind of excited and proud to kind of know that that's going on and to see it kind of expanding. Because from what I understand, I don't think in some of these people's lifetime they even had koala or knew they had koala on their properties.
Yeah, no, it's because of the koala's habit. I mean, their habit is to move at night. They usually don't start moving until about 10 o'clock at night. They're usually moved and settled in another tree by about 5 o'clock in the morning. They don't make any noise during the day. They do all their bellowing in the middle of the night. People are just not aware that they're there. I mean, we were on a property a couple of days ago. One of our males is on his mating activity where he moves around a lot. So when they bought this property 30 years ago, the local people said there are koalas here, and this woman has been waiting 30 years to see her first koala, and she saw it a couple of days ago, and she was very excited. But koalas are a beloved animal in Australia, you know, very excited about having a koala. And so, yes, we've thrilled a few people who have said, you know, there are no koalas here, mate. And we said, well, we can show you one if you like. And yes, it's been a very successful exercise from that point of view.
Yeah, that was a great story. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't think you could miss an 8-9 kilo animal sitting up a tree, but if you've only got one of those in a square kilometre, he's very hard to see. And if he doesn't move or make any noise during the day, once again, he's very hard to see. So, yeah, it is. We really, in this circumstances that we're working in, we really do need a lot of public support, both for financial support. And I think the way that is going, or the way things are going in Australia, conservation is really going to be an activity of community groups. I think they're going to be the heart of it. Governments find employing lots of people to do conservation type work in tight budgets, they're the first thing that gets cut. So it's good to bring people along with you, and koalas are an excellent animal for doing that.
Well, Roger, thanks so much. It's been amazing to hear about the koalas. I'm certainly a big fan, and would definitely love to see one day. I've seen them at a zoo. But
I'll get one up at 11:30 and bring him on with me. Well, it's in his active period, so he'll be fine. Yeah. It's been nice to talk to you.
Thank you, Roger.
Thank you. And thank you for telling us about how you've been using the technology, and please keep up the good work. And thank you for sharing all this information. And we look forward to continuing to work with you on these projects. So thank you for your time.
Okay, good guys. I'll see you again sometime.